Hello, everyone. I am doing my taping tonight, and wanted my taping to be different. But first, before I go into all of that, I want to just say thank you to everyone that has been reaching out, and thank you for everyone that has been inspired and motivated to lead a different life or a better life. Certainly, the journey has been an interesting journey, but you guys have been asking a lot of questions. So I'm devoting tonight to really take some of your questions and to be as impersonal but personal, because again, I am not an expert in any field, and especially in the field of giving advice and relationship advice and stuff like that. But what I really want this tape to do is to motivate you to know that regardless of what you're going through or what situation you found yourself in, that you are capable of managing through the situation with a sound mind, with good energy, and keeping your eyes on things that God's preparing you for. I'm not sure if you're a godly person, but regardless, the universe is preparing you for. So a lot of persons have been coming out and they've been saying how do you go through? And they want me, that's mainly the question, how do you go through? Because we see that you've been through, we've known you to be up, now you're down. What does that look like in my life? And I wanted to be as candid as possible. And again, one of the answer, I have 4 to 5 answers that I put out to say how I maintain my sanity through going through, a difficult season in my life. And number one is I became very self-aware, and what that was is to reassure myself of the things that work for me and the things that I'm good at. I also look at my weaknesses in my relationship and just being a friend as a whole. And I look at the opportunities that I have and the opportunities that I'm losing, of course, and then the threats that the situation that I am in look to that can come from where I'm at, right? One thing that I did that's a strength, I'm a people person, and I connect well with some people or most people, and I use that as a strength to say that kept me going, because I realized that outreach is a big part of what I do. And being an evangelist, or what you would say a salesperson, most of what I do include people. So a strength that I have is people. So I try to find the good in everyone and then look at the good and use that to motivate me while I was going through. A weakness that I have is that I'm quick-tempered, right? So most of the time I probably miss things because I'm going so fast. And I go to a place of being upset very quickly, or agitated or angry or upset, because of course, in my situation, I think that I was being used. I wasn't careful in who I let in, and I get that way. So that's one thing that I look to as a weakness, and that's a thing that I look to be working on, right? To be less angry, speak less, listen more. And an opportunity for me is my ability to connect with people and to lead, be in a leadership role, and, take ownership of things that may go wrong or did go wrong, and, place blame in me, because I can't really assess anybody else. I just can assess me. And some of the things that, looking at my life as a whole, what came from that and the threats again that possess, right? One of the things is that being as open as I was, and always being in a marriage, that kind of defined me for a moment. Because my first marriage, I believe, lasts for 16 years, and then my second marriage for 13 years. So for most of my life, I'm 43, I've been in a relationship or a marriage or some committed thing that's going on. So what that can do is kind of close your mind to opportunities that can present itself in the form of love, because of course you're going to be examining everything. So daily I look to cleanse myself, I'm making sure that I am sticking up for me, and I'm running the things that I need and what I'm looking for in the next husband, because I truly believe in the process of love, and I truly believe that there is love out there, someone out there to love me the way how I should be loved. I don't want to fall short, there's a way that I'm looking to be loved, and I'm going to be totally honest. I'm 43. I feel like I gained certain rights to be totally honest with the individual, because to be frank, a lot of the issues that I had in my marriage, there were issues and things that I second guessed myself on because I wasn't as confident in who I was as a person. And therefore, those are the same issues, because I knew that I was biting off more than I could chew, because there are things that you're open to from day one. So if there is anything that you would take away, and again, I cannot give advice, is that look to see what you want in your relationship and what you think would work for you with the person that you're choosing. And if you're swallowing hard on some things and you table them and they're not, and that's for both parties now, man and woman, you're tabling them and you're not getting the correct response, do not sweep these things under the table, because they're important issues, right? Another thing that I do to keep me sane is that I stop complaining, and I'm taking the actions to build correctly. So I talk about things, but I am not complaining. I believe that where I'm at is where I need to be for where I am going. So I try to have a positive outlook on no matter where I am. If I'm on the dirt, because right now I'm at below zero, but I take my time away. I cry a lot. I do not want my tapes to be a crying tape. If crying comes 1 and 2 times, I'll embrace it, because that's who I am. But I take time away from my situation, my circle, to kind of regain strength and regain like where I'm at, process and accept where I'm at, so that when I talk about it on my tapes, I'm not crying or I'm not going through the emotions, because I took time away to go through the different emotions, right? One of the other thing that I do, and that's point number 3, is that I don't give anyone the power, right? So I choose to be angry. I choose to get sad. I choose to be happy. I choose to have a positive outlook. I choose to be motivated, and the list goes on. So, for example, I don't get the support. Of course, I am not that strong. I've been saying to myself, like, oh my God, I'm below zero and there is nobody in my circle. But I said to myself that I need to be here, because the people who you're looking for to support you, sometimes they're not the people that you're going to get the support from. And I have to own that up, right? Nobody's going to be, because I probably come across like I'm a very strong person. So most of the time people is thinking that you've got it together. And that's okay, because I'm not dealing with people, but I'm dealing with me. But there are times when I would have loved to get a phone call. I would have loved to process with different individuals. I may not be taking the advice, but just to spit out some things that is in my gut. But what I do is to write a lot. So, again, that could be what I'm displaying. I probably come across as being strong, and people don't want to, maybe they don't want to have anything. Marriage is sensitive. So when you're going through a divorce, sometimes it can be very lonely, because especially, if you share the same circle, because people want to stand clear of what is happening, and they also want you to be able to make sound decisions for yourself, even though sometimes it gets really lonely and sad and you wish you could just cry and blah, 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 blah. But you grow up quickly when your circle is not around you, right? Because then you have to be that, and you have to lean on Christ more. Another thing that I do to keep me focused is I focus on the process. So today I have to give up my cars. Today I have to call my mortgage company. Where am I at in the process? So I try to focus on my progress that I'm making. And if there is no progress, then I said, you know what? I'm not making any progress. I have to think about how the yard is going to be cut, if I'm going to open the pool, and these different things. If I'm going to get to go to supermarket, what my income is, because I don't, if I'm going to stay in a job with somebody pressuring you to do things that you can't do because you're not emotionally able or physically able to carry through the daunting task of a job. So sometimes you have to call your company and say, you know what, it's over. I can't do what you're asking me in this season, and it's fair, right? So that's what I do, and some of the things that I'm saying to you is what I have been doing. 2 cars broke, and their engines went. So I decided to call the companies to take them back because I can't find the funds now to buy engine for a car or for 2 cars. So, and these are the harsh reality of when you're walking through a divorce. Your bills are out of place. You probably don't have a job. You probably, and in my case, not having a job worked for me, because had I had a job, I would have to pay alimony. And coming from Jamaica and being a Jamaican woman, strong rooted, that would kill me. In our culture, men takes care of women. In the American culture, it's a little bit different. And people may set you up, and people may do things, and in your lovely thing, or when you're in love, you're not seeing that a case has been built on you, like you're the breadwinner. You're the breadwinner if somebody chooses to leave the marriage. These are things that your eyes need to be open. So if you have a man that doesn't want to work, or a woman that doesn't want to work, the case in court is going to be that somebody has to pay alimony and our child support. So in my case, losing my job really worked for me, and not getting a better job really worked for me as well. So no, that's the process that I'm taking to build. And the final thing that I do is to put me first. There are times, even in my ministry and different things that I do, that I never did put myself first. I always, take a sideline, but for those who are looking in, they wouldn't see that. If you move into my house, you will see that. So I never did put myself first. There are instances, right? I used to shop at the thrift store. I still do shop at the thrift store. I used to do things so that things could look perfect. In the long run, while I was doing it, it didn't feel like, there was times that I realized that no, you can't do that. You have to put yourself, speak up for yourself. And I don't want to demonize anyone, because the divorce is actually the best thing that ever happens to me, because again, I'm looking to be loved the right way. So if you feel sympathy, but or empathy, or whatever you want to call it, but knowing that it's something that I've come to terms with. I went to a function last year, and I said to myself that, the best option for us is that we will have to go separate ways. So I'm not regretting being in this place. I have to, for what I'm looking for, I'm doing me, and I'm capable of being loved and receiving love the right way and being fully me. You understand? I don't have to sacrifice. I don't have to sacrifice being a mom to be in love, to be a best friend, to be in love, to have the best career out there, to be in love. No, these things should work well with your partnership, right? When you know that you're in the right situation. And again, the Holy Spirit will guide you when the situation is not right, to say, all right, then, cut some of that, do less of this, do more, because I'm a godly woman, and if I'm not doing right by God, the Holy Spirit speaks to me. So I just want to say thank you again, guys, for giving me a platform. You guys have been really kind with your support, really kind with your comments, really kind with following me and making this a thing. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on Instagram TV and YouTube. Those are my channels, and I thank you and have a wonderful evening. Bye.